someone who might know much more than this, hopefully, is standing by to talk about it. He's been a good guest of this program. He is Randy Moore, advocate for Made in American Jobs, and he joins us here on 700 WLW. And Randy, how are you on this glorious Saturday?
I'm great. Things are just wonderful here.
Well, I'm glad things are wonderful for you. Randy's also the CEO of ZAF Energy Systems, which is a Joplin, Missouri-based developer of next-generation battery technologies. Okay. Would you agree that China is going to be front and center between now and November, between these two candidates, and who has the best approach to deal with China? I would think internationally it has to be the number one thing.
I think you're absolutely right, and I think that if China had a vote in it, they would certainly be on Biden's side. You know, you're exactly right. You're exactly right when you were saying that in the last days of the Obama administration, they were all chummy with China, and now I think they've done the polling, and the popular opinion is that we're too reliant on China, and so that's why Biden has adopted this facade that he is pro-American manufacturing.
Forbes magazine did a story, and this was, I want to say, about a year ago, and it compared something I thought, well, it was very interesting. It was the first 21 months of the Trump presidency vis-a-vis the last 21 months of the Obama administration, and it showed, statistically supported, that under Trump's watch, more than 10 times the number of manufacturing jobs were added than under the last 21 months of the Obama administration. Now, those that believe that there should be wide open spaces for companies, wide open spaces for manufacturing, will be quick to compare Trump to what Ronald Reagan did in freeing up red tape and freeing up encumbrances that were basically government-driven, and how the Obama administration was more of a clampdown on a number of those things. So I guess my question is, how much do those things, those clampdowns, those things that I suppose put manufacturing into a defensive crouch, how much of those things do you think Joe Biden will run from in this election cycle?
Well, he can't have it both ways. I mean, the platform that he has put out is basically a Sanders-Biden platform, and it's a globalist platform. And it's a socialist platform, and you can't say that you're going to have a free market economy and have all those controls at the same time.
Well, now hang on a second, Randy. I'm looking at this. In Biden's plan to make in America, he has Buy American, Make It in America, Innovate in America. These are all things that he's come up with. Stand up for America and Supply America. And that last one is bring back critical supply chains to America so the country isn't dependent on China. That doesn't sound globalist to me. That sounds USA all the way.
Yeah, and adopted within the last several weeks, actually, because prior to that wasn't his agenda. You can look at his 40 years track record. That's never been his agenda. He's reading the populace, and he's saying, this is what they want, this is what I'm going to tell them, I'm going to give them. But if you listen to the guys that are pulling the strings behind him, you know, AOC, Sanders, all the others, it's the Green New Deal, by definition, will kill American jobs.
How? I've heard that a lot. I really have, and I've heard it a lot, particularly from the president and from those on his side of the political equation. How will the Green New Deal, that supposedly is going to clean the environment up, if you listen to AOC, if you listen to Schumer, if you listen to a lot of the people that purport this, Bernie Sanders, how will that cripple America?
Well, mostly, in my view, it's all about energy, and every natural resource that America has that produces energy is on the banned list, and it's not just phased out. You know, we all know that the entire world is going greener, and it's in everybody's interest to make that transition to a more green planet. You know, the batteries that we make, tend to not be good for the planet, but you know, certain batteries are a lot worse for the planet, such as lead acid and nickel cadmium, and others are not so bad for the planet, like nickel zinc. But energy is really the focus point of why I say it's going to kill America, because right now we are a net exporter of energy, and everything that we are exporting in energy will be killed, will be shut down. And not gradually over time, phased in and phased out. But they're talking about implementing these things very rapidly once they get elected.
Well, if that's obvious to you, and it seems like it's obvious to a lot of people, then why would it not be obvious to Biden and the people that are supporting him? I mean, if indeed that happens, then America is back on its heels again. Why would they want something like that?
Frankly, I don't think anything's obvious to Biden. That's just my opinion. I think that what you're saying is obvious to a lot of people, but the people who are pulling the strings behind Biden just don't care. They have this globalist green agenda, and the faster we can get there, the better they think the planet will be. But there's going to be a lot of people hurt in the process because they'll lose their jobs.
How much is Buy American? Which I think everybody, I mean, regardless, I mean, I don't know many people. Maybe you do. I don't know many people that say, you know what, I'm not going to buy American. You know, I'm really going to buy, French-made goods, or I'm going to buy this from Brazil or wherever it may be. Buy American. I can't believe there's anybody that's against that. Can you?
No, but it's really how deep you want to go into that. I mean, and again, they're giving lip service to the Buy American program. We're going to implement more Buy American. But if you actually look at most products, the things that go into products, our batteries are made in the USA. And we put a "Made in the USA" label on them. 80% of all the chemicals that go into it's just like pharmaceuticals. What you were saying earlier about pharmaceuticals,
right.
80% of all the energetic material in batteries goes through China. Now, it doesn't originate there. A lot of it comes from Indonesia, the Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, and it gets shipped to China and processed, and China then ships it to America for consumption inside. So although our battery says "Made in America," the supply chain, and we were actually impacted during COVID. We had some interruption in our nickel supply, nickel hydroxide. So we've gone out and we've looked at forming alliances, and we're going to do a spin-off company that we're calling Battery Grade Materials, and we're going to ship the material directly to the United States and process it here and make our own nickel hydroxide. Not only can we achieve a secure supply chain by doing this, but we can also reduce our cost. We think we can take 50 to 60% of our cost out of the nickel hydroxide by doing it ourselves.
Randy Moore.
That's what needs to happen. It just doesn't need to have a label that says "Buy in America." The supply chain for it needs to come back home.
Randy Moore is our guest, advocate for Made in America jobs, and he knows exactly what this is all about. Just explained it. I don't care what level or what side of the argument you're on. A politician will say anything to get elected. You know that. I know that. The number one game with everybody is to get elected. But here are the two stakeout positions so far as I can see it. Biden wants to create 5 million manufacturing jobs and Buy American. He wants to create 5 million manufacturing jobs. Trump, with regards to China, is going to create tax credits to lure companies back to the United States with either their manufacturing or their money from China. Which of those two do you think is most likely to happen? Trump bribing companies to come back, or Biden, whom we know what happened with manufacturing jobs under the Biden administration, wants to create 5 million manufacturing jobs. Of those two scenarios, which one do you think is the most likely to happen?
Well, they're really not two scenarios. Again, saying you want to bring 5 million manufacturing jobs home is just saying it. It's telling people what they want to hear. Where's the plan behind that? Trump's method of creating tax incentives and setting up government and private partnerships aimed at, low interest loans and so forth. But that will, he's got a program. Now, Biden's whole family has been really chummy with China prior, during the latter part of the last administration. And why do we think that's going to change now? Well, really, why do we think that Hunter Biden was on that board, got the big diamonds for his participation, and all of those? Why do we think anything's going to be different? To answer directly your question, The difference is a plan, a program, not just slogans.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any question that Trump has been terrific for business in America since he was sworn in January 2017. We'll see. There are a lot of people that like this plan for America that Biden unveiled. But, well, you're right. It's words at this point. We'll see what action is. But I think China and the United States, I think internationally, that's the number one thing in this election coming up in November. Hey, Randy, good stuff. Really good perspective on all this. We appreciate your time as always. All right, you take care of yourself. Stay well. Stay well.
You too. Take care. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
There he is, Randy Moore.